I want to be completely transparent with you for 30 seconds. I deleted every single social media app off my phone. No Instagram, no TikTok, no Twitter, no YouTube Shorts, nothing. And within the first 72 hours, I genuinely started to believe something was deeply, seriously wrong with me. Not with the apps, with me. That scared me more than anything. So I kept going, 30 days. And what happened next changed the way I see myself, the way I see you, and the way I see pretty much everything about the world we're all living in right now. Stay with me, because this story goes somewhere you are not expecting. And hey, real quick, if you're the kind of person who wants to think deeper, live better, and actually understand what's happening inside your own mind, hit that subscribe button right now and tap the bell. I drop videos like this every single week, and I don't want you to miss what's coming next. All right, back to the story. Let me paint you a picture of who I was 30 days ago. I'm talking about a guy who woke up every single morning, and before his feet even hit the floor, before he said a single word, before he even took a breath of fresh air, he had his phone in his hand, screen glowing, eyes half open, scrolling, just scrolling. Instagram first, then TikTok, then maybe Twitter to feel a little bad about the world, then back to Instagram because apparently that wasn't enough. I'm talking about 45 minutes in bed, just absorbing content like a sponge, soaking up dirty water and calling it hydration. I thought I was staying informed. I thought I was staying connected. I thought that's just what people do now. Normal people, modern people, people who are plugged in. But somewhere in the back of my head, this quiet little voice kept whispering. It kept saying, "Hey man, you feel kind of empty, don't you?" And I kept turning the volume up on everything else so I wouldn't have to listen to it. Then one night I was sitting on my couch. It was about 11:15 at night. I had work the next morning. I had things I said I wanted to accomplish that week, goals I'd written down, books I said I was going to read, conversations I said I was going to have, and I was watching a stranger eat a cheeseburger. Like literally just watching a guy on TikTok eat a cheeseburger and react to how good it tasted. And I laughed. I actually laughed. And then something hit me like a bucket of cold water. I hadn't laughed that hard in actual real life in I don't know how long, but a stranger eating a cheeseburger on my phone at 11 at night had me cracking up alone on my couch. And in that moment, I made a decision. I deleted everything, right then. No plan, no strategy, no 30-day challenge journal, just deleted it, all of it, and I went to bed. Day one wasn't that bad, I'll be honest with you. Day one felt almost like a relief. I woke up and there was nothing to check, so I just laid there for a second, looked at the ceiling, listened to the birds outside my window, had a thought or two that was actually mine, not fed to me, not triggered by something I saw, just my own brain doing its thing. I made coffee. I sat by the window. I felt almost calm. I thought, okay, this is fine. This is actually going to be great. I'm going to become one of those people, you know, the ones who journal and do morning walks and wake up before 6 and just seem like they have their life together in this quiet, confident way. That was going to be me by day 3. Day 3 is where things got weird. By day 3, I was restless in a way I can't fully describe. It wasn't boredom exactly. It was more like this itch underneath my skin that I couldn't scratch. I kept picking up my phone and then remembering there was nothing there, no feed to scroll, no notifications waiting, and I'd put it back down, then pick it up again 2 minutes later like maybe something had changed, like my brain literally could not accept the reality that there was nothing coming, no dopamine, no hit, no little red circle on an app icon telling me that somebody somewhere had noticed me. And I want you to really hear this next part, because this is the thing nobody talks about, the thing that embarrassed me most when I admitted it to myself. I didn't just miss the content. I missed being seen.
I missed the idea that at any moment, someone might be looking at something I posted and thinking about me. Even strangers, even people I'd never met and would never meet. The thought that someone, somewhere, might be paying attention to my life, that was apparently something I had quietly built my self-worth on. And without it, I felt invisible, in my own life, walking around inside my own skin and feeling like somehow I was less real without an audience. That realization hit me hard, but it's not even the most disturbing part yet. Around day 5 and day 6, I started noticing something strange happening to my thoughts, and this is the part I really need you to slow down and process with me. I'd be doing something in real life, like going for a walk or cooking dinner or having a conversation with someone I actually care about, and in the back of my mind, almost without me choosing it, I'd be narrating it, I'd be framing it, I'd be thinking about how it would look as content, what the caption would be, what angle I'd film it from, what song would play underneath it. And I wasn't even on social media. There was no platform to post anything to. But my brain was still producing content, still packaging reality into digestible little clips for an imaginary audience. I was living my life and simultaneously treating it like raw footage. And standing there in my kitchen with a pan on the stove and nobody watching, I had this genuinely unsettling thought. I asked myself, am I experiencing my life, or have I just been performing it this whole time? Put a pin in that. We're coming back to it. Week 2 is where things started to fall apart in a completely different way. The withdrawal, the restlessness, the phantom phone checking, that stuff started to settle down a little. But something else replaced it. Silence. Real silence. Not just the absence of noise, but the absence of distraction. And inside that silence, all the stuff I'd been running from started to show up. Old thoughts I hadn't wanted to sit with, questions about my direction, doubts I'd been scrolling past for months, anxiety that I'd been medicating with content. I'm not being dramatic when I tell you that week 2 felt like cleaning out a room in your house that you'd locked the door on for years. You know, something is in there, you can smell it, but you've been hoping if you just don't open that door, it'll somehow handle itself. Week 2 was me opening the door, and it was not clean in there. I called a friend, a real one, not a DM, not a comment. I actually called him, and we talked for 2 hours about real things, hard things, life things. And afterward, I sat there and I thought, when was the last time I did that? When was the last time I had a conversation that wasn't designed to be entertaining, that wasn't a performance, that wasn't for anyone but us? And I genuinely couldn't remember, because somewhere along the way, I'd replaced depth with volume. I'd replaced real connection with the simulation of it. Hundreds of followers, thousands of views, and I was sitting alone in my apartment, not sure who I'd call if something actually went wrong. That realization didn't just sting, it sat with me, heavy, for days. But here's where the story starts to turn. Around day 17 or day 18, something shifted. I don't know exactly when it happened or why, but I noticed I was waking up differently. Not with that electric, anxious need to check something, but slowly, quietly, like my nervous system had finally exhaled after years of holding its breath. I started reading again, not articles, not threads, actual books, and I remembered something I'd completely forgotten. I remembered what it feels like to get genuinely lost in something, to follow an idea for hours, not because an algorithm told me it was trending, but because I was actually curious. Real curiosity, the kind that doesn't need a like button. I started writing things down, not for captions, just for me, thoughts that didn't need an audience, observations about my own life that I was actually noticing now because I was present enough to see them. I started going on walks without my phone, actually without it, left it on the counter, and for the first 3 days that felt almost physically uncomfortable. By day 5, it felt like freedom. And here's the twist I promised you. Here's the thing I did not see coming. Around day 22, I sat down and went back and looked at my screen time data from the months before I deleted everything. And I want you to brace yourself because these numbers are going to hit you. I was averaging 4 hours and 17 minutes per day on social media apps alone, not total screen time, just social media. 4 hours and 17 minutes every single day. I ran the math. That's 60 hours a week, over 120 hours a month, over 1,400 hours a year. That's 58 full days every year, gone. Traded for what? For content I can't remember? For opinions I didn't ask for? For a version of connection that made me feel more alone every time I logged off? And the wild part, the part that genuinely broke something loose in my chest when I thought about it, is that I chose that. Nobody forced me. No one held a gun to my head. I walked into that cage myself, and then sat there wondering why I felt trapped.